very warm welcome to New Life of the Living Room. My name is Louise Eklund. I am your host for today. So here we are in the RTL Ad Alliance Parisian offices for the second edition of this exclusive show. Since last year, the teams have been working really hard, and they have conducted a new study in the living room of Europeans. Today they're going to share their finds to empower you so that you can get the most out of your media planning. So we'll be obviously sharing the results, but you will also benefit from their expertise and holistic approach, enabling us to put the trends of today into perspective. So let's kick off the show as I join Daniel Bischoff, Chief Marketing and Operations Officer at RTL Ad Alliance. And it's, well, this way. Hello, Daniel. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Welcome to Paris. Welcome everybody to our RTL Ad Alliance office in Paris.
I see you were working right up until the last minute, weren't you?
Just in time production, I would say, but for sure, yes, we gathered a great set of insights just in time for this show.
Okay, so here we are in the living room of RTL Ad Alliance. Why did you choose to set up here today?
Well, we wanted to give you and everybody watching a little bit of a peek behind the scenes. You know, there are many people working in this offices and in all of our other offices on this study, but only a few get the opportunity to talk with you and the camera and present it. So we wanted to make sure that everybody gets a little bit the vibe of what it means to bring this study to life. And also look at the office is great. It's just a great setup.
It is a wonderful setup. So understanding video consumption and habits is really crucial today for the advertising industry. And that's why for the second year running, you've led a survey into Europeans' living rooms. I guess the first question would be, what is actually special about your approach?
Well, first of all, I think our industry tends to hype topics, look for the next big thing, but we stay a little bit on the surface, I would say. And we wanted to, with the second edition, to go deeper and to really dig and see what is relevant, what is the BS, and what is the stuff that advertisers and agencies actually need to know.
Okay.
So what we did is we looked very closely at 10 European markets, interviewed up to 1,000 people per market to understand what is the reality of media consumption in European living rooms. Because we feel that at RTL Ad Alliance, our job, our duty, our mission is to guide advertisers and agencies and the market through this very complex and fragmented media landscape today.
Okay, so what awaits us in the next 60 minutes then, Daniel?
Well, I would say the best of, an essence of a vast data set and insight set, compressed and compiled into 3 chapters. So first of all, we will look at our, let's say, a little bit sarcastic or controversial subheadline, I was told to do CTV, to understand what is the reality of media consumption in Europe in detail. Then secondly, we will look at the increase of cost of living, the inflation, the rise of AVOD platforms. How does it have an impact on consumer preference when it comes to choosing your video platform in your relevant set? And finally, in the third chapter, we will look at how is the relation between the ad that you're showing on the screen and the screen itself. So what is the effect of the screen on the impact of your advertising?
Okay, so it's a presentation that's obviously supported by the RTL Ad Alliance teams, namely Jean-Baptiste Maudiot, Head of Marketing, and Aurélie Brunet de Coursou, not easy to say for an English girl, Group Head.
German as well.
Group Head of Strategic Planning. But as always, you have enriched this show with external guests as well, haven't you?
Yes, exactly. We have some great guests here for the show today. We have Guillaume Bemas, starting off in the first chapter, CEO of Realytics, talking to us about how can we conduct cross-screen measurement of reach. Going into the second chapter, we will have Paul Ridsdale, Director of Marketing at ITV, giving us the view from the broadcaster perspective on consumer media behavior and habits. And finally, we'll close off with David Broich, RTL Ad Alliance's Head of Data and Audience Products, and looking at how can we do precise targeting in a world where we need to be data protective and where we need to be future-proof when it comes to data. And finally, I want to give a big shout out to our partners at RTL Netherlands and SmartClip, who supported this study from the start. And without them, we wouldn't have had the means to do this big study.
Of course, so thanks very much to you. And also there'll be lots of other surprises, of course. I'm going to be asking every guest to tell us about their most inspiring ad, because we really do love an ad break, obviously, here at RTL Ad Alliance. And so I'm going to ask you the same question right now. Daniel, what's your favourite ad?
Well, you know, I'm German, right? So you can never go wrong with a beer ad if it
Sure.
when it comes to Germans. Even though this is for a Dutch brand, but I really like it, so let's have a look.
Oh, hey. What? Oh, don't judge me, Anton. Alcohol-free. Oh, back to work.
Well, thanks so much, Danielle. It's now time for part one of our show. So hello to both of you. How are you doing? Great to see you. Aurélie?
Great to see you, Louise.
Yeah, Louise, welcome to our living room.
Thank you very much. So, what is at stake, shall we say? Let's do CTV. This is the first part of your analysis today. You sneaked into Europeans' living rooms for the second year to decode video consumption habits. And first of all, in 2023, do we spend a lot of time in front of the television?
Yes, clearly, you know, the importance of watching video at home was confirmed. It's 57% of all Europeans that we got the questionnaire that said it's in their top 3 activities.
Okay.
And another good news about this, it's 10 out of the 10 countries put watching video into their top 3. Last year it was only 9 out of 10, but the Germans, they came back to reason, so that's very good news for us.
Hooray for that. In 2022, the TV screen was, I remember, at the centre of the living room. Is that the case today?
Yeah, it's really the preferred destination for watching video at home. It's 77% of all Europeans that watch video on their TV screen every day. It's progressing year on year, but what makes us even more confident in the future of the television screen is that it's so important as well for the younger generations. You know, the Europeans that are under 35 years old, well, they declare that their living room would look pretty empty without a television. For 74% of them, it's even more than the total population. For them, it really brings the people together.
But I can feel that there's a but coming on, isn't there?
Yeah, after the good news, there's always a but. This is the moment where, well, the planners in the audience will start to have nightmares. The but is that there is more in life than the television screen. You know, we watch video on multiple screens. And I'll give you an example. If you take the 2 more important screens at the moment that are the television screen on the one end, the smartphone screen on the one end. Every day, 86% of Europeans are watching video on both these screens. But there are some exclusive viewers to each screen. It's 20% of exclusive viewers for the television screen. It's 15% of exclusive viewers for the smartphone screen. So if you don't plan multiple devices, you will miss out on exclusive viewers.
Okay, so multiple devices, but also multiple uses for one screen. Right, Aurélie?
Yes, and this is our fragmentation slide. So we continue in the nightmare that Shibé mentioned. So actually the question was, on a weekly basis, what do people watch on the TV sets? 69%, so linear TV is first. But clearly the fragmentation is very high, 64% for the subscription VOD, the likes of Disney Plus and Netflix. YouTube on the big screen is very high as well. Broadcast VOD, so the like of 6play in France, ITVX in the UK, for instance, is very high as well. So what it means is that when you are planning a campaign on the big screen, depending on the target group, you might need to, actually plan different platforms. So that's a tricky part.
And from what I can see, AVOD has not yet conquered Europe. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, if that's okay for you guys. So what are our favorite platforms then?
Well, the trend is that linear TV is slightly decreasing. We've seen it's still number 1, but it lost 4% versus last year field. Okay. So the question was, okay, where is the growth? Actually, it's not on the SVOD platforms. It seems like they kind of reach a plateau, actually. And it might come to a surprise for certain people, but actually the growth is coming from the broadcast video on demand. To us, it wasn't such a surprise, to be honest, because we see how much our local partners invest heavily into, this great content, premium local content that the viewers love to watch. So that's what we find in the results as well.
And so what does that imply for advertisers then?
Very concretely right now, the question is, do I reach the same people when I plan the big screen. Okay, if I plan linear TV, if I plan, YouTube on the big screen and BVOD, for example, do I reach the same people over and over again? And how do I calculate this incremental reach that each platform is bringing to another? So that's a complexity. If we look at this slide, for example, if we take the YouTube versus linear TV, well, actually, we see that there are a lot of exclusive viewers. You can see 30% would watch just linear TV, 13% just YouTube, and actually the overlap is existing, but is rather limited. So our first guest will come, and deep dive and bring insight into this topic in a few minutes. I think it's important.
So, how do we explain the number of exclusive viewers on television?
Well, to understand this, you have to put yourself into the consumer shoes. It's because linear TV offers content that you cannot get on the other platforms. News, sports events, or entertainment are exclusive to linear TV. When you go to the video on demand platforms, BVOD, SVOD, you will capitalize on their huge catalog of movies, series that will create incremental usage. And finally, for YouTube, they deliver a very special kind of entertainment that guarantees them some other exclusive viewers. So different content equals exclusive viewers.
So we're evolving in a fragmented video world today, but we are all, I think we can say that, simplicity seekers in some way. So how can we navigate easily? I think that's the question. Well, I would say thanks to the RTL Ad Alliance teams. They're working on fantastic solutions and innovations that are coming very, very soon. And you'll see that right now with our next guest. He is the CEO of Realytics, a French company that's part of the group. Realytics brings analytical, media planning and programmatic innovations to the TV and advertising industry. In a few moments, Guillaume Belmas will be joining me. But before, I would like you to watch his choice, his inspiring advert. Here we go.
Hey babe, check this out. Alexa, it's game day.
Streaming football on Prime Video, closing blinds, chilling rosé.
Rosé?
Well, it's an afternoon game.
Oh. It's like she can read your mind. Your mind.
I love that we get to sleep in.
Ordering fresh mint mouthwash. Extra strength.
I'm thinking I should get a spray tan, because it's on Wednesday.
Activating blender.
Funeral's on Monday.
What about the gold, Papa? Can't you see? The treasure all along. It was you.
Love the eye patch. When does the show open?
March 8th.
Setting reminder to fake your own death on March 8th.
What the?
When you have to do those love scenes with hot guys, is that fun or is that like the worst?
It's the worst.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Scarlett, this bread is delicious. Did you make it?
Yes, it's from my Gammy's recipe.
Announcement. Gammy is short for she bought it at Whole Foods. Announcement. Colin left the oysters in the car for 5 hours.
It's probably better Alexa can't read your mind.
Bad idea.
What's the game?
Guillaume Belmas, thank you very much for being with us. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
Super. So we've just seen your advert. Maybe you can tell us why you chose it.
I chose it because TV advertising is more than selling product and showing a discount code. It's also about creativity.
Sure.
And when it comes along with a sense of humor, I'm a big client. So I really loved the Amazon commercial with Scarlett Johansson making fun of herself. And also it creates memories. And I think it's good for both the viewers and the brand. And plus Amazon, because Amazon is a digital native brand, and they are leveraging TV advertising. So it shows how powerful the TV advertising can be even for digital brands.
Wonderful. So today advertisers deal with a fragmented a video world, of course, but actually you don't think this is set in stone, do you?
No, it's not. Actually, I mean, at least we need to try to turn it into an opportunity. So, for example, there is a need for cross-screen measurement on the market for unifying those fragmentations. And as an answer, Realytics launched B, which is a cross-screen measurement solution. Thanks to this solution, advertisers and the agencies can actually measure any TV campaigns, so speaking about linear TV, addressable TV, BVOD as well, and study those campaigns under different aspects, such as audience reach, and also online performance. And with these insights, the brands can actually optimize their investment and better allocate their budgets.
Sounds exciting, but how does it work?
So concretely, how does it work? It's a measurement platform we built in partnership with the French telco Bouygues Telecom. And thanks to them, we can gather up to 2 million households data, so which bring a great accuracy in the way we measure. Combining all those data can actually help us to measure all the aspects of a campaign, as I said, reach and also performance. And using this insight can actually help the brands for one key aspect, which is duplication of the audience. So do I reach the same audience on linear TV compared to BVOD is one example. What is the contribution of those campaigns to my online business? This is one other quick key question. And we can actually now answer questions that we have been asked for years. One of the most recurrent questions, for example, is how many impressions, how many TV contacts do I need to trigger an action from the TV viewers, such as online visits or downloading an app? And now I'm glad that we can answer at last this question. There are many scenarios, but I can recap as B is as powerful as the fragmentation is.
Okay, so that's quite empowering, isn't it? But for now, B is only available in the French market. Any sort of project for expansion there?
Yes, absolutely. We are expanding B to some other support, like HbbTV and CTV, to make it more universal. Speaking of this, we are currently running some test campaigns in the German market with RTL Deutschland, for RTL Plus, for example. And hopefully I will be able to announce the general availability of B for the EU market probably before the end of the year.
Okay, so to be continued then.
Exactly.
So advertisers can now have the same type of measurement, but could we go even further in the convergence between television and digital?
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about unification of the measurement, which is one key aspect, but there is another aspect, which is the buying process itself. And TV has always been different from the digital. A couple of years ago, we launched Atkimia, which is a TV DSP, so a digital platform, but it is dedicated to linear TV and addressable TV. The goal of Atkimia is to bring the same experience in terms of buying as the big digital platform can offer to their customers. So that's one key thing in Atkimia. The other is the fact that this platform has been the first to propose CPM-based inventories, which is another key aspect, using the same currency on TV that is used in the digital world. Bringing those two aspects together, we believe that this is one key thing to do for making TV converging with digital.
Okay, so that's very encouraging. So with these solutions, fragmentation could bring new business opportunities. How do you see the future of advertising? It's a big question.
Yeah, tough one.
Tough one.
The future of advertising, it's interesting because it's not one single question anymore, like should I consider TV or digital for my brand? It's what device, what kind of support should I leverage to reach my goals? We believe that technology and programmatic can offer an answer, but we have to avoid reproducing the errors of the past. That's one thing. And unification, again, of measurement, of buying process is definitely a key thing for the future of TV. And I believe that TV will be will be more close to the digital world in a few years.
Thank you so much, Guillaume, for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Stay with us as we continue our exploration of the new life of the living room and talk about advertising perception. I love coffee.
I have one ready for you.
Thank you so much. That's really kind. I know it's a coffee break, but could I ask you a question?
Yes, sure.
Concerning AVOD, I know that it's not as big in Europe as it is in the US, and I saw that earlier and I was a little bit like confused. Maybe you can sort of enlighten me.
Yeah, you're referring to the tiny 20% indeed we've seen earlier on the slides, and the number was 51 last year in the US. So yeah, there's this big gap. There are a few explanations for that. One would be that for the likes of Pluto or Rakuten TV to really increase their awareness and their content in Europe, you need very, very heavy and strong marketing budgets.
Yes.
So that for once. In the US, there are also those well-established, powerful, what they also call FAST, such as Roku, that they have. But for me, the most important one is that in Europe, actually, we have this really great free-to-air TV content that people can watch live, can watch on the BVOD platforms. So there is no really need for the Europeans to go after more content for free. They already have a lot and very qualitative.
Perfect. That's so much clearer. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
So, are we ready to have ads on our content platform? You may remember from last year's study that consumers are not so fond of ads, of course, but did the actual economic context change our minds? Well, let's find out in part 2. Will inflation change the way we accept ads? That's the question. Well, that's what some content platforms seem to be actually betting on at the moment. What is their strategy, Jean-Baptiste?
Well, we've seen that our usage of the big screen is very diversified, in terms of platforms. But until now, these platforms were clearly separated between the ones where you paid and you didn't have any ads, and the ones that were for free, but where you saw ads. What we see at the moment is really a mix in the genres and in the business model.
So will this change the face of the advertising market?
Well, 2022 was a year of economic slowdown. And what happened is that the consumers, they have less budget to put onto their platforms. And the investors, they also have less money to invest into companies. So the companies, they have to become more profitable, but without this money, without increasing the price. So what do? Well, they offer advertising. That's true for the streamers, Netflix, Disney+, but for a lot of other companies, Uber, Marriott, they are all selling advertising at the moment.
Okay, and is this a winning bet?
Well, let's have a look at a very concrete case. Netflix, in November 2022, they launched an ad-supported subscription in 5 of the 10 European markets that we surveyed. And we asked our European respondents if they were interested or not into this basic tier with ads, as they call it. Overall, it seems very interesting because 40% of the respondents say they would subscribe to it. But if you scratch a bit the surface, you see that it's only 14% of them that say they are definitely interested in it. The majority of the people, they are in the gray zone of probably yes, probably not, for 57% of them.
Okay, but it seems like, when I think about it, a rational choice to not accept ads and pay less. So why doesn't this actually appeal to Europeans?
Well, Europeans seem to be allergic to ads. That's the finding we had last year and is confirmed this year, right? So if you see the numbers on the slide, here it indicates annoyance that people feel towards ads on the different platforms. Well, it's quite high. Approximately 50%, especially on YouTube, actually. And if you took the number we had last year with the US, it was roughly 30-40%, so much lower, better ad acceptance in the US, apparently.
Okay, so I hear you, but cost of living is so high. Consumers are doing everything they can to kind of save money these days. Shouldn't this be a game changer?
Yeah, that's what we thought. So that's what we try to understand from the field this year, what the impact of the economic situation. So the first learning here is that actually when we ask people, what is your outlook, your perception for the coming months for your own economic situation, actually 70% of them say, well, it should be okay, or it should even improve for most of them. So that's a first thing. And then when we zoom into what will be the impact on their video budget, here as well, we see that the situation is not dramatic at all. Video consumption is that important for the European that even in inflation context, they say that they will keep their video budget of the household stable or even increase it. Only 18%, that's not a lot, say that they are planning to decrease it for the coming months.
So what do they actually want?
Yes, that's also what we've tried to understand. And actually, it's quite funny. There is a lot of confusion on what people want regarding advertising. So we ask different questions. And here you can see that half of them agree on two very different statements. So they would say, well, yeah, I prefer to pay and not see any ads. But they also say at the same time, well, I'm ready, to see some ads if I have access to good premium content for free or at a lower cost.
So, yes,
they don't know.
Europeans are not quite convinced at the moment, but we're facing an evolution of content platform models, aren't we? During our coffee break, so you mentioned to me that the European broadcasters' offers were really quite strong. How do they adapt to the new reality of the living room today?
So I think it's a good introduction of Paul Ridsdale. So he's a marketing director at ITV. And I think it's good if you have a call with him now. He will explain you from a broadcaster point of view, and I'm sure it will bring a lot of good insights for the audience.
Right now?
Right now.
I better go then, hadn't I?
Yes, but just before, we can see the ad that he has chosen, the ad of the moment for him.
Wonderful. Let's take a look.
Did somebody say just ring, ding dong? Ring a ding, somebody say just eat. Want my curry in a hurry, extra sauce on the low. And I want acai, yeah, when I'm ordering delivery. A little sushi while I watch a movie. Papaya salad while I sing a ballad. Need some ice cream, make it a swirl. Gotta treat this California girl. When you're running through, there's only one place to go. 'Cause I get what I want when I want it. Margarita with extra cheese on it. Download now, all I gotta do is pull out my phone. Easy 1, 2, 3, mobile whip, triple shot, it means a lot to me. Back from the club, sandwich, eating subs in the tub, finished. Spicy chicken when I'm ready. Bon appetit from me, Katy Perry.
Well, hi, Paul. Thanks very much for being with us today. How are you, first of all?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. Shame I'm not there in Paris with you, but anyway, we'll make the most of it.
Wonderful. Well, it's great to have you on Teams anyway, first of all. So you shared with us your favourite ad, your most inspirational ad of the moment. So tell us why you chose it.
Well, first, I probably need to say that it's probably because my kids love it, and they won't stop singing it around the house, so that's one reason. The more serious reason is probably because I think it's a great example of just an ad that the place is really brilliantly and is really effective. So, it might not be the sort of campaign that's going to be in lots of the sort of creative, awards and things like that, but I think it's just brilliantly well branded throughout. I think it's entertaining. I think it's really, really memorable as well. Actually, what I think is interesting is there's a trend in the UK now, but lots of advertising like jingles, like sort of audio branding. I think it's a great example of that as well. So that's the basics, really.
Wonderful. Great. Well, thanks very much for the explanation. So evolutions in our living room are reshaping the video landscape today, but the RTL Ad Alliance survey also highlights local specificities to take into account. So first, what has CTV changed, for example, for UK viewers?
Yeah, but I guess the biggest and maybe most obvious answer here is choice. I think viewers in the UK have always been quite fortunate, I would say, in terms of having a really wide range of high quality content. But what CTV has sort of just done is supercharge that completely. So, there's never been a better time to be a viewer. They now have a huge range of unbelievably high quality content, both local content, but also, the best content from around the world. So I'd say that's the good news part of it. I think the challenge that comes with that, of course, is sort of navigating through all of that choice and finding the show that you want, which is spread across lots of different services. That, I think, has become a bit of a challenge. It can be quite overwhelming to viewers. So I think that's the next sort of thing that Connected TV needs to try and solve. And certainly from an ITV point of view, we're working really hard to try and make sure that ITV is a sort of signal to viewers for high quality content to help them with those choices.
Okay. Well, the cost of living is something I wanted to talk to you about today because it's something that is obviously touching everybody all across Europe. How is the cost of living crisis affecting the VOD market? Paul, tell us.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, as you say, a big issue in lots of markets. It's definitely an issue, as a general issue in the UK here. You know, we've had for a long time now high inflation. You still have high inflation here in the UK, still over sort of 10% or so. And I guess when you think of that, the main thought would be that would be a challenge for sort of subscription video on demand services. And we're seeing a bit of pressure there, but that's been more a sort of slowing in growth and a sort of plateauing in subscription, as opposed to what we haven't seen is a big decline in subscriptions. And I think part of the reason for that is because if people are going out less and they're spending, they don't have the money to spend on going out for dinner and drinks and other leisure activities, actually there's clearly an argument that a subscription video on demand service becomes a better value, if you're spending more time at home. So I think if you're one of the big SVOD players, I don't think those are going to come under pressure particularly. I don't think viewers have started to view those, as an essential service like electricity and water. Maybe if you're one of the smaller SVOD players, that's where a bit of the pressure might come. But actually, from an ITV point of view, we're mainly focused on free and supported VOD, and we definitely think there's a lot of headroom for growth there. Both in the current climate, as we're saying, with cost of living crisis, when free becomes even more powerful than it usually is. But even when the economic climate improves, we still think there's a lot of headroom for growth.
Okay, so what are the keys to success nowadays for a VOD player in the UK?
But probably like all markets, the first thing I'd say is you've got to sort of get the hygiene factor right. So that's about me, having the right technology and the video player, making sure it works really well and meeting the expectations, of modern viewers, and also having it available in as many places as possible, right? So you've got to sort of take away all the potential barriers that people might have to stop them using your service and make it easy for them. That's really important to not just do that once, but you've got to keep investing in both of those areas because the expectations of viewers don't stand still. They sort of keep rising every single year. But really those hygiene, in fact, I think it just get you a seat at the table. And what's important if you're going to win is having a really clear and differentiated offering in the market, right? So in this sea of choice that we've just talked about, why is someone going to choose Borat over all the other services that are available in the market? So, and importantly, why are you going to be the first or second place that they might look for something to watch? Because I think for the fourth or the fifth service, they're rarely going to make it to. So, I don't think it's enough just to be another big VOD library with thousands of shows to offer. Be really clear about what your brand's for, what content you're offering, and who you're for as well.
Okay. So in November 2022, you revamped your platform and launched ITVX. What was your strategic approach there? What are the sort of major evolutions?
Yeah, that's right. So this has been the big focus rather than the last couple of years. And actually, about 2 years ago, we had a big review of our consumer strategy. And the good thing was we were starting from a sort of relative position of strength in doing that because ITV was and still is a very commercially successful broadcaster. We're great at delivering big audiences on our channels that viewers love and advertisers love that as well. But what was clear as more viewers started to stream for more and more of their viewing, it was clear that we didn't have a strong enough proposition in the streaming market. So, a couple of years ago, we had a very basic streaming service called ITV Hub. It was essentially a catch-up service with about 1,000 hours of content. And really, the only reason you would go there was if you'd missed a show on one of our linear channels. So for viewers who, didn't really think about channels as the first way of discovering shows, they thought about streaming services, there wouldn't really be a reason to come to ITV Hub. We weren't in their consideration set. So, rather than sort of slowly tweaking that service and adding more content to it, we actually decided to go for a sort of big bang, a complete relaunch of the service in terms of both content offer, technology that sits underneath it, and the brand as well. And that strategy was really about making sure viewers noticed that change, and we could drive that reappraisal and trial of the new service. So as you say, late last year, we sort of soft launched in November, and then had a proper launch in December of last year of our new streaming service. which we call ITVX. And that is much more sort of fully fledged streaming service. We now have just over 15,000 hours of content versus the 1,000 that we used to have, and that's growing all the time. As I said earlier, we're mainly focused on free AVOD, so the vast majority of that 50,000 hours of content is available for free, supported by ads. But for those viewers who don't want to watch adverts, we also have a premium tier which people can subscribe to. Means they can watch ad-free, and it also unlocks extra content if they're a premium customer as well. So it's been a really big shift. You can stream all of our channels within that service as well. And far from just being a catch-up service, we're now actually dropping some of our sort of most exciting new content first on ITVX, and it's only available exclusively on ITVX, for sort of 6 to 9 months before we air that on our linear channels. So we slightly flipped that on its head. It's moved from a catch-up service to now the first place, and you can see some of our most exciting content.
Sounds exciting. I'm going to have to take a look at that. So in the show a little bit earlier on, Aurélie mentioned actual high investments in local content creation. Do you guys capitalize on your local specificities to create exclusive content? And if you do, how do you do that?
Yeah, definitely. So ITV very much has always been sort of very firmly rooted in the UK. We're a public service broadcaster here in the UK. So we've always commissioned a lot of local UK originated content, and that is absolutely continuing. So even with this pivot towards streaming now, the vast majority of our content budget is still spent on UK originated programming. Whether that's Britain's Got Talent or drama series like Grace, which is a drama set on the south coast of England. It was a town of Brighton. So absolutely, that's really important to us. What's interesting for me is with ITVX, we are now, though, alongside all of that originated local content, acquiring more content from around the world as well. But even when it's acquired content, the thing we try to do is to position that content and market content to viewers through a sort of UK focused lens and where UK external voice. So as an example of that, we've just had a 3-day weekend here in the UK because of the King's coronation. And so last week we had a big campaign in promoting bank holiday box sets to viewers. So a specific series that they could binge in a single day on the extra day off that we all had. I think it's that ability into what's going on in the UK set us apart from the big global streamers who find it harder to sort of reflect going on in the UK market.
Mm-hmm. It sounds very, very exciting. Anyway, maybe you could give us a little bit more detail.
We've got a trailer that we can show actually that was part of that bank holiday box sets campaign. So I think you have that trailer, then you can play to the audience to take a look.
Okay, super. Well, I'm going to share it with everybody right now. Thank you so much, Paul, for being with us.
No problem at all. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for talking.
And take a look at this.
Long weekends? No plans? Let ITVX fix that day off dilemma with bank holiday box sets. Get your binge on with these short and snackable series. All doable in a day.
How exciting.
Streaming sessions sorted. Bank holiday box sets available now on ITVX.
Jean-Baptiste, can I bother you just for 2 minutes?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because earlier we were talking about Europeans' perception of ads, and I was a little bit maybe confused by the confusion. So what do we actually like and not like when watching ads?
It's a question that requires a bit deeper digging into the consumer attitude and mindset.
Okay.
And Thinkbox, which is the marketing body for commercial TV in the UK, actually did like a super interesting qualitative research about, let's say, the attitudes when watching ads on different devices and different platforms. Mm-hmm. And by the way, they sent a video. You want to watch it with me?
Yeah, cool. Sure.
Okay.
I'd like to. Thank you.
Our project began in August of 2022. Acacia Avenue conducted 3 waves of work to bring colour and understanding to how and why people use different types of video formats. The focus was to understand viewer engagement with advertising on broadcast VOD. To do this, we needed to look at viewing consumption across platforms, including linear TV, BVOD, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Firstly, without revealing our interest in advertising, we recruited 20 people who watch across these platforms to log all of their viewing experiences for 2 days and tell us about them. We used an online platform where participants could upload text, image, and video entries into a digital journal of their media consumption day. We chatted to them daily to explore their motivations more deeply. On the third day, we imposed a no-skip rule for any advertising that they encountered to see what we'd learn. In a second phase, we sent video glasses to another 10 people who were charged with wearing them as they went about their daily media lives. We wanted to see literally what they were seeing. As in the first phase, we then imposed a no-skip rule on advertising. Finally, we visited the glasses wearers in their homes to review their experiences and to watch them watch content with other household members and discuss their experiences. Here's what we found.
You've got me, you've got me, you've got my time, you've got my attention, I'm here. I don't have control, you do. It feels fine because I've got the time. I've committed. I think that's, and I'm happy to go through that.
Whereas I think the ones on TV, I find there's more content.
For me, when I'm watching YouTube, I'm literally like, okay, I have to hurry up so I can just skip it. So I'm not actually really paying attention. I'm just looking for that number 1 to change to 2 and then look for the skip.
So the ad with the Airbnb, it was quite repetitive. On my phone, I was just so eager to skip it. But what I've noticed is that the same advert on the telly, it has a different impact on me. And it's because of the places they're showing. When I see that on the bigger screen, I just think, wow, oh, that's so nice, oh, that's so lovely, I wish I could be there.
The catch-up service isn't understanding me in the same way that my phone is. So it doesn't become intrusive, it is on. And everybody who's watching this programme right now is watching the same thing. It's almost like you've hacked my phone, but you haven't hacked my TV. You've put it on there and hoping that it's the right one.
Okay, so what are your major takeaways, I guess, from what we've just seen?
Well, what the ThinkBox research says are 3 things mainly. First of all is the value that people attribute to content on the different platforms. You remember this lady saying, oh, you have my time, you have my attention, when she's watching TV or broadcast VOD. That's what makes the ads better for her rather than on YouTube or TikTok. So that's the first one. The second one is really that the big screens, the qualitative content, it gives a great stage to the ads. The ads, even if they are the same, they are perceived as more relevant, more impactful, and more reliable. And finally, it's about the targeting. Targeting on the smart TV, it's about contextual relevance, not a very personal data-driven targeting. And people, they do expect their phones to know everything about them, but when it comes to the TV, they like a bit more privacy.
Okay, cool. It's becoming much clearer. Thank you very much. So reach perception, what is the next big advertising challenge?
Well, if we recap what we've said since the beginning of the show, to create reach on the big screen, you really have to play with the complementarity of the different platforms and their exclusive viewers. But when you deliver the ads on these platforms, you have to make sure they are accepted, that the people are ready to see your ads. And if you reach them, if they are ready to see your ads, you have to ask yourself the questions, will the ads be watched? And it's an attention question, and the attention is not the same for every platform, and there are other factors that will affect the quality of the ad. In short, the question is a connected TV ads always equal to another connected TV ad?
Okay, so are all ads created equal? This is part 3 of our show. Do we pay attention to ads and what impacts our attention? A subject you already explored, of course, last year in your study. So what's new this year?
Well, actually, not that new, I have to admit, on this question. So we wanted to know what people are doing when the ad is on, at least what they are declaring they are doing. But this is very important because actually most of the people say they're doing something else and not actively watching the ad. But most of them declare that they're staying in the room, they're actually still in front of the screen. So there is what we call the passive attention, which is very important because at any moment, with a sound or with a catchy title, you can get back this attention.
So are there any factors that make us more attentive?
Yes, there are. So the first one, I would say, is a co-viewing. And there was a very nice study from the UK, from ITV, and they tried to understand and explore, what's the impact of watching ads together, if any, and there is a very strong, apparently, impact. So people are 3 times more likely when they co-view an ad to then pay attention to it, basically, and then it also triggers attention because they're 4 times more likely to then, look for more information about the brand that has been communicating.
Meaning that the value of a contact on a screen depends on how many people are actually watching the screen. So what are the unifying champions then?
Yes, that's what we try to calculate. So this is low estimates because we considered that there was at least 1 person co-viewing. Actually, the live linear TV is bringing more viewers, 1.71. Well, it is explained with, the big live events, of course, the nice family entertainment shows. The VOD platforms as well are also attracting co-viewers. The SVOD platform, the broadcast VOD platform with a nice series and movies that they have in catalogue. Seems like YouTube and also the AVOD platforms are more an individual experience, a more one-to-one experience.
Okay, so co-viewing, we've got that. Anything else?
Yes, there is also the sound, which is very important. Of course, getting back to this passive attention that we've mentioned, if there is, a catchy music, you can get back this attention of the viewer on screen. So here we took as a basis 100 the linear TV, and we asked if people tended to switch off or on the sound. Social networks and YouTube, people tend to mute more often, whereas on the video on demand platforms, when the viewer is on the driver's seat, people tend to be more engaged and have the volume on more often. And this is, of course, key for the attention.
Okay, so what about targeting or targeted advertising now? Wouldn't that be like the best way to get everybody's attention?
Well, Louise, you remember the video we've seen from Thinkbox earlier on?
Yes.
The viewers, they expressed that for them, it was more important contextual relevance than really personal targeting. When we asked it in our survey, it was 37% of Europeans that like ads better on TV if they are actually targeted. However, you have to consider the different countries, the different age groups, and for the Italians, for example, or for the Europeans that are under 35 years old, it was more important to have the ads targeted.
Okay, so why are some of us not in favor of targeted ads?
Well, really, the big concern is about their personal data privacy.
Oh, yeah, of course.
There's 39% of them that don't want to share any personal data at all, and 46% of them that don't want their data to be used for commercial purpose.
Okay, so focus on the context effect and ensure consumer privacy. Get it? But that said, it's a bit like I was told to do CTV. I guess it's not so easy from an operational point of view.
Yes, being contextually relevant is not easy. Once again, if you're looking for a bit of automatization in your media planning, you'll need to have a bit of technology, an efficient tool to analyze your data, but also to ensure the most compliant usage with the privacy regulations. So at RTL Ad Alliance, we have product teams that worked on such a tool for the last 3 years, and we'll get more details from David Broch, he's our head of data and audience products.
Okay, so we'll be welcoming David in just a few seconds, but before that, here is his ad. It's his pick of the day. Take a look.
Yo, these are the bomb!
And they're air popped, not fried.
Popcorners. You're an artist.
Actually, Jesse, it's just basic ingredients. No, we don't eat our own supply.
Mr. White!
Jesse.
Everyone's gonna want to taste. And I know just the guy to talk to. What are these? We call them popcorners.
Say their name.
Popcorners! Take! Yeah! How much of this stuff do you have? We've got 6 signature flavors, Joe. 7! You make 7! 7. 7 works. Yeah. Popcorners. Break into something good. We're gonna eat a lot of snacks together.
So hello, David. How are you doing?
Hi, Louise. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So we've just seen your ad. I mean, maybe you can tell us a little bit about why you chose it, first
Yes,
of all.
of course, because it's hilarious, isn't it?
It is. It's very funny.
I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan, and it's great to see the guys again after they transformed from meth producers to snack producers and still kept the same customer base. So this is truly amazing and definitely one of the funniest commercials ever.
Wonderful. So, as we said earlier, data protection is becoming an increasing concern for consumers these days. Yet advertisers are looking for more targeting in media. This is sort of a real challenge, I guess, for you guys. How are you dealing with that?
Yeah, so we needed to find a concept to address all issues in one solution. And this solution is called Smart Audiences. So our future-proof and privacy-safe targeting solution, which is an additional layer on top of the technical targeting capabilities that we use. And it is based on different buyer personas, which represent marketing relevant customer segments. And all of them are individually modeled and profiled according to the most important briefings that we received from our advertisers.
And this is an innovation that is exclusively available at RTL Ad Alliance, isn't it? How does this persona allow more relevance then?
Yes, so all personas are multi-layered. So that means that each persona profile consists of different characteristics belonging to one big field of interest. So for example, the fitness foodie is a persona who's super interested in all kinds of sports and exercises, but also focusing on good food and a healthy diet. The second example is the tech enthusiast, a digital native interested in all kinds of future technologies and the latest gadgets, but also likes to get together with friends for a movie or a gaming night.
Okay, so based on this info, you've developed 3 approaches to enhance the relevance and acceptance of target advertising. So maybe you could explain them to us?
Yes, so to feed smart audiences with the right signals, we only rely on future-proof targeting technologies that do not affect the user's privacy, which are interoperable and available at scale.
Okay.
So the first one is Smart Context, a contextual targeting solution powered by Double Verify. And it ensures accurate content classification of each site, page, and app. And it is based on the current interest of the user, reaching them at the moment of maximum engagement. Furthermore, it allows us to find a specific topic wherever it is available in our entire network. The second one is called Smart Socio Demo, which is powered by GDR, and it predicts hotspots of interests and social demographic characteristics based on neighborhoods. So we are able to target different user groups by combining target groups with various online and offline data sources, which are then matched according to zip codes.
Okay.
And this includes official census data, e-commerce data, telco data, but also survey and panel data from data analytics companies such as Kantar.
Okay, and I believe you're still improving your smart audience solution by combining your concept with technological innovations. Is that correct?
Exactly. So our latest and most innovative targeting pillar has been developed together with our friends from SmartClip.
Okay.
And it is called Smart TVT, which stands for Smart TV Targeting. And it enhances smart audience with TV viewing behavior data to enrich video targeting capabilities. So this solution merges the TV with the online world, and it enables advertisers to target audience segments based on detailed but anonymized TV profile data.
Okay, and so how does it actually work?
Yes, so first of all, we selected matching TV affinities for each persona profile. Then we identified recent TV shows from our ATV portfolio with the highest matching affinity index. And this includes all RTL channels, Discovery Group channels, Disney, N24 Doku, Sport 1, and many more. And then with the help of the profile targeting, we are able to determine the devices with users who have the highest affinity. And then, lastly, with the cross-device targeting, we are then able to retarget online video campaigns to corresponding devices in the same household.
Okay, so Smart TVT is going to be available first off on the German market, right? When exactly?
Yes, so for everyone who's interested in booking the most innovative targeting solution we offer, from now on, we will apply Smart TVT to each campaign on the German marketplace.
Wonderful. Well, thanks very much, David.
Thank you, Louise.
So the new life of the living room is coming to an end. Before we head to the conclusion, maybe a few words from both of you. What would you like us to take away from this event today?
Well, if you were told to do CTV, well, then you should do it. I don't want you to get fired, but do it the smart way, you know? Take into account all the available platforms, you know, the complementarity of the screens, and take the good measurement solutions that will help you make the most of it.
Okay, Aurélie?
I would say the second takeaway that doesn't seem that, you know, economic situation is going to have an impact on ad-supported tiers that some players are launching. We don't see that the Europeans are going to rush into those new solutions.
Okay.
So that would say is a key learning.
And even on the big screens, all the ad impressions are not equal. You know, there's co-viewing, there's sound, there's the relevance. They all do play a role in how much attention we are likely to pay to the ads.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much to both of you. All of this study that you've seen in this show reflects your work on a daily basis, everything that you are doing actually to support the advertising industry. It's a unique approach that Stefan Koruble, CEO of RTL Ad Alliance, reminds us in these few words of conclusion.
Thank you very much, Louise, and of course all my team at RTL Ad Alliance for helping us to provide such a nice piece of information today. I want to also thank our guests of today, and I hope you really enjoyed the results around this second edition of the new life of the living room. There is so much that has been said around CTV in the market lately, over conferences, articles, press releases around the world. And sometimes we had to face very dodgy pieces of information and sources. At RTL Ad Alliance, it's very important for us in our mission to bring transparency and to bring pieces of data and solid pieces of information to the market. And this is what we have done, and this is why we have commissioned this study again this year. CTV is very important for our business because it's very complementary to our legacy business, either on linear TV but also on BVOD in the digital world. So combining those different types of consumption of the media is really a key element for us to bring to the market and to our clients in order to have the full funnel and a 360-degree approach to reach our consumers every day. The human touch approach of the teams at RTL Ad Alliance combined with the right technology is, in my view, the right combination to bring simplicity to our clients, the advertisers, and the agencies on one hand, and to bring value to our media partners.
Thank you, Stefan. So it's now time to leave this living room. Thanks so much for watching. I'd like to personally thank as well the RTL Ad Alliance teams that have prepared and worked very hard to put this show together today. I'd like to thank our special guests as well, David Broich, Guillaume Belmas and Paul Ridsdale. Stay tuned to New Life of the Living Room through our website, which is newlivingroom.tv, and also the white paper version will be coming as well very soon. So for me, it's goodbye for now, but I will see you very soon in Cannes at the Cannes Lions, and we have concocted a super program for you. So take care, bye for now, see you very soon.